Oh, me make 'em YouTube video. Sorry if you're offended by that. I don't care. So today I want to talk about your guys' favorite topic, money. How do you guys feel about money? Do you feel anything at all? I made a so I don't know if I did a bad thing. I don't know. I don't care. So somebody was I've actually seen two posts recently about this. One on LinkedIn, one on Facebook. Somebody on Facebook, or this is a LinkedIn post. Somebody was talking about, and I didn't make a comment on this one, that they had a client that was felt like they had a negative emotional attachment to making more than 15K per month, like they were blocked or something. And the coach, this was a coach posting this, said, well, they work with their clients to create these, like whether or not you're worth to have more than that or not, right? The other one was a coach who was kind of saying something similar. Somebody that I had knew from a coaching group. Didn't know her very well, just in passing. She seems like a pretty genuine person. Where she was trying to overcome an income ceiling that she felt like she was running into. And she said it's like it happens every time to her. And so I made a comment. I said, hey, here's a different perspective. Maybe your higher self is telling you to be more grateful, and maybe just to take some time out and relax and see things from a different perspective. And then she responded by saying something about playing small. And I said, I responded and I said, hey, be careful about judging yourself of an attachment to the external, because you'll project that image of yourself onto other people. And then she blocked me. That was boom. I hit her nerve. Obviously, it was like boom. Because too many, and this is something that, and this is what creates the dysfunction with money in the first place. When you're selling a service that just focuses on how much money you got in your pocket, there's no relationship there. You can't have a relationship with something inert. You're creating an idol, right? Anytime you try to create a relationship with an image, you're creating an idol. That's why biblically and spiritually, idol worship was so, in the Old Testament, it was forbidden. Because anybody that's putting their energy into an idol, you're not co-create, you're wasting your energy. You're putting your energy into something that's not real. For one thing, the image changes. You're looking at a projector. We're the creator of the image. So if you put your energy into the image, you're buying into a false reality. You're pulling yourself into linear time and killing yourself slowly. Think about it. Don't ever worship an image, right? You can't have a relationship with a car. You can't even really, you can try to have a relationship even with the way you look, but if you do, then you'll not be self-aware enough to realize that you're the creator of what you look like. I mean, we will eventually ascend to, and maybe some of us are getting close to this, ascend a level of awareness where we're going to be able to possibly, I would love nothing more than to turn into a giant pink flaming phoenix and go fly around and just rock car, right? Just start scaring the shit out of me. But you guys know what I'm saying. Don't ever have an attachment to an image. Super dangerous for yourself, for the people around you, because for one thing, you'll have an image of what things should look like, and then it'll become a block as to what you are able to create for yourself. Right? Yeah. That's why Willy Wonka had to detach from society because it was so messed up. But, you know, he had to find the heart of a loving boy who gave up all attachments, even to the everlasting gobstopper. And then Charlie found the secret, right? Letting go. So, yeah, money is an inert thing. It's just stuff, right? It's something that has been used that we have created to keep people honest and being more creative, right? But if you're not creating something to trade for something else and recognize that you're the creator, then you're creating somewhat of an unhealthy relationship with feeling like you need to worship something to support you instead of realizing that you are the creator of your own reality. So, always getting your creative energy. Think about what you're doing to yourself, and try not to project images of negative attachments. You know, do your best. Try to be think circumspect. Think about, okay, how do I view myself? Do I view myself? I mean, really, all of us should have the identical view. We are just the creator experiencing a reality through a vessel. That's what everything is. And depending on its own level of self-awareness, depends on how well it's able to interact with its environment. Because if it's wasting energy, it's pulling itself into just limited mindsets and not understanding that this is all created, right? And if we worship somebody else's creation, like a Federal Reserve note, then we give our power to that system, right? You and I could build whatever system we want. And then if it works better than the system that somebody else created, then somebody will jump on board with us, right? You want to create a magnet. If you really want to have a big impact on this reality, create a magnet and teach these fundamental things of reality, the nature of reality. That everything you see is just a vessel, and it's in different states of levels of self-awareness relative to space-time. That's a key thing to know, right? Because it's a lot of things look like they're not, that there's no awareness there, that looks inert, like it's dead. But if you look close enough, everything is moving. And the things that become, that to us, that are intimately more self-aware, that we can interact with, based on our level of awareness, are things that are closely resonate with us, right? People. And then there's a full spectrum of different kind of people in different states of awareness in different ways that we interact with one another. And how well you can interact with somebody whose level of self-awareness might be, obviously there's so many different levels of self-awareness. When people have too many attachments, it can become very obvious when you're talking to them, right? Because they're not focused on what you're actually conveying and their ability to listen, right? That's the unhealed part of the feminine aspect, if they're not able to actually listen to what's going on around them. And then on the flip side, being able to create something new and not being attached to even something listen. This is actually the leap in evolution we're getting ready to go through, because the one that we've witnessed has been the feminine aspect, right? This is why you see so much toxic spirituality around what you can receive and what you can attract. But none of it has been really focused on what you can create. Now, the healing aspect, there are portions of the healing aspect where you listen first to be, and this is the state of the healer, right? You listen to the state of the person that you're and where they're at, and then as long as they're giving you permission, you can do more profound healing than you could like I'm speaking on a YouTube channel. Basically, you kind of give people permission because you give people your energy when you're getting motivational feedback from somebody like on a YouTube video. That's most of the reason why people watch tarot card readings, right? Because you're resonating with what they say, and then they're usually trying to give you some kind of message to, hey, lift you up. Say, oh, look, you're just part of this journey, and you just keep going. Make sure you're staying in your creative energy and learn your intuition and being able to listen more profoundly to your environment to see what your environment's going through. That's what's happening in the group collective, right? That's why businesses are falling down, and that's why so many bigger businesses are making so many bad mistakes because they don't know how to heal the people within their organization and get them into a place where they can become more creative and listen more profoundly. They're just laying them off because they're worshiping the stuff, not understanding that the only way that they ever got the stuff was their creativity in the first place. Intel is a great example, right? The thing that Intel Intel came up with some of the best ideas initially, the x86 processor, all these things that they originally built and created. They created a narcissistic structure to try and support what they initially created, and it slowly killed it from the inside out because it fed on the people that were associated. So there's a cutting away, and that's what you see. You see all these people get cut off of that business because it still hasn't learned its lesson. It's not providing for the people, for each other to become more creative and move past the industry. I mean, Intel had an opportunity 6-8 years ago if they made the right moves. Of course, they probably already made too many of the wrong moves in the past, because if you create too much of a bloated management structure and a micromanaging structure, then you stifle creativity, and then you basically not getting anywhere, right? They had an opportunity to create an organism that could have just completely destroyed any of the. NVIDIA is the only one that's pivoted, but even NVIDIA is making mistakes because they have too much AI control, and they're incorporating too much AI control. AI will always be a block to relationships, right? The last thing I want to do is talk to you through a bot, right? Why would I want to do that? It's the same thing as the money situation, right? I don't want to talk to you through money. I want to have an equal give and take relationship and create something with you that we can both benefit from. Otherwise, I'll just do it for myself, right? If you can't figure it out, then I mean, come on, wake up. So yeah, and everyone's at a different state. We all go through trying to let go of negative projections from our environments to make sure that we're staying in our creative energy, staying present, being happy. Sometimes you get depressed because you have this, and I believe me, I'm just as much victim to it as anybody, because I'll have a negative perception of what's going on around me, because it's like sometimes it feels like you're talking to a brick wall. It really does, right? I make posts on LinkedIn all the time, try to get people to understand what I'm trying to say, and it's just like, you're talking about the human soul here, right? The companionship, building stuff together. We don't have to follow all the old crap. We can go away from it and build something new and heal the people around us profoundly by taking care of ourselves and making sure that we're staying present and doing things in a very profound way. And I believe that our creations are going to be much more profound. Healings will become more profound. Coming to an end of an age. We got to do it. You got to do it. Bigger picture. Ascend into a higher state of being. Non-attachment is really important too, because if you're ever going to float around in the field and poof, pop in from one place to another, that's detached. I mean, that is the definition of detachment, right? To be able to really detach from even realize that this is a projection, that you can project it into any place and spot and time space. But you really have to be able to see the bigger picture, right? That oscillating time. Yeah. I'll leave it with you guys, and then I'll pull a oracle card. Maybe we'll pull a couple of tarot cards. I don't know. something really interesting. If you guys ever think about this, look up the relationship between like the size of our star and the Kuiper Belt, which is considered the outer edges of the field of our solar system, and then measure like this the distance of planetary bodies and their orbital motions with their spin rates. There are some standard ratios that never fall out of balance there. For one thing, 24 is a standard and if you look at it, even if it looks like, okay, an orbital body, if you look at the Earth's, how long it takes to go around the sun and its spin rate, 24 hours a day, and then how long it takes. So it's a factor of 360, right? That 360 degree factor, 360 days. Say it's 365, but close enough, right? It's approximately 360. And then it's always a factor of 12, that circular motion, but then the distance from the sun and the size of the planet, everything is all like a specific ratio at certain spin rates. And it's always like 24 to a factor of 3 to get into a bigger system. So that's why our solar system actually goes through one full revolution of the way it points towards the galactic core every 24,000 years. It's weird because our solar day compared to the galactic core is 24,000, where an Earth day is 24 relative to the same thing. So if you take that relativity of 24,000, it also like times 360. Do this number. 24,000 times 360. Yeah, that number, 8,640 or 8,640,000. That number shows up a bunch. If you take 360 times 24, especially 24,000. I think that number 8,640,000 is this exact ratio of the size of the sun versus the Kuiper Belt, if I remember right. You guys can check that out. But it's very interesting when you really start to look at things closely. And because the relationship of our solar system to the galactic core is almost identical to the relationship of the Earth to the sun, that's what puts Earth in that, like, there's a spot that's a relational frequency that creates an expansion where you have access to more of the field, right? Things that are farther out don't have the same relationship. So, like, yeah, I would love to explore the galaxy and look at planets farther out that are further out in their solar system, if that makes sense, relative to how far they are from the galactic core. And I'm sure that the Secret Space Agency has figured out, because it's you're dealing with vectors that have specific frequencies in the field at specific places. So it's like in a Rubik's Cube, right? You figure out how to go from this point to this point. And if you were going to move from this point to this point, you're going to have to meld. Like if you took your body from this point to this point, you're moving from one field to another field. And if the change is drastic enough, you probably just get sick. Just blow your guts out. So you'd have to kind of induce one field on the other slowly to get to the other place on your body. Otherwise, it'd be like instantaneously me sitting in this chair to going to the bottom of the ocean. Something like that, right? Even if you were in a vessel that had the same atmosphere, you're still moving into a different part of the field that's got frequency moving through it that's much different, higher level frequencies, right? There's a lot of high frequency energy that's moving through the field where I'm standing here that's different from where you're sitting, where you're at right now. So if I were to instantaneously move from me to you, you've got to kind of meld the two, right? And feel it, visualize it. Yeah. Actually, it depends on how light your light body is, right? If you're so high vibrational that you're just an image in a three-dimensional reality and you just pass through things, then right, just like a microwave or a gamma radiation, right? Gamma radiation goes through things, but I mean, there's higher frequency than that, right? Denser realities that's moving way higher frequencies that we can't visibly observe with our instruments in this, but we can because we have access to it. It just depends on your level of awareness, if that makes sense. Is any of this making sense to you guys? I'm rambling, but it's just how this place works. It's just a field of intelligence that has an infinite array of frequencies and manifesting according to its own awareness and what frequencies it has access to, right? And how well it can create according to its own level of awareness as well. Yeah. One, before these things, we always get messages, right? And a lot of times movies will give us clues about how to, everything created is so interesting. One really interesting comic book character is Wanda, right? The Scarlet Witch. Like WandaVision, she actually creates her own little universe, something that she could manipulate. And then she found herself in the Book of the Damned. She ended up self-destructing because she could no longer like connect with anybody, right? When you get to a place where you're purely creative and you're not co-creating with the people around you in a healthy way, then you turn into a manipulator, right? That's actually what happened to the elite structure on this planet. They created a system where they could create anything that they wanted, and then it turns into self-destruction. Always will, because the last thing that you kind of you'll pull yourself into another universe. It's like looking at a black hole, right? All of a sudden you pull yourself out and it just becomes worlds within worlds, and you'll fall into, I mean, you can create a portal where all of a sudden, boom, you're outside, right? You create your own little reality. Schizophrenia is kind of an example of that, right? Where you kind of create your own little world and then you stop connecting with people because you're not actually able to listen to the projected energies and take them in. Detaching from them is good, but too much detachment without interaction will just pull you into deeper states of schizophrenia, right? And everybody's path is different. I mean, we live in this varied universe that's so crazy. But ideally, I think at a deepest level, there are parts of us that really want to just become one together, right? You want to be able to create together without creating your own little world and being so isolated that you no longer resonate with anybody. You want to create stuff together, right? That's what we all want to do. So at least that's what I want to do with you guys. I don't know. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you not to create your own little universe. But, let's pull a couple cards. If you guys have made it this long, you make it through a couple of cards. Sword of Truth. There we go. You guys are speaking your truth. you got to be able to go to the deep places in order to really understand a lot of this stuff, right? Oh, we got winning circle. One more, and then I'm going to get an oracle card. So I feel like you guys are getting to your winner circle by speaking your truth. And you really have to, right? Because that's the only way. As soon as you got to feel comfortable enough with yourself to be confident in your own convictions in order to really be successful, despite being the injured warrior, right? In a world where it's all focusing on the image instead of the understanding that we are the creators of the image, you'll always be like this, right? Because you're trying to. There's always going to be that. Every creator that found their complete independence from the system went through this, guaranteed. Had to. It's part of the detachment process, right? Finding passionate music. Anybody that's passionate about their music, they didn't just become bang, famous instantly. Although there's a few cases, right? But then even that can have its own level of toxicity. I mean, Amadeus Mozart is actually kind of an interesting example that's really similar to like the story of Wanda, the example that I just gave, because he wasn't co-creating. He was just creating the most beautiful music, but he couldn't, right? I mean, he got a little bit detached and a little bit, I mean, look at the story. The movie Amadeus is great. That is such a good movie. I don't know how accurate some of that stuff is. And I don't know if he actually created his own death rattle before he died like that, in that order. But it's such an amazing story and amazing movie. I think it got Best Picture when it came out, like 1986 or something like that. I don't know. I have to look it up. But hope I'm entertaining for you guys today. Free spirit. Exactly. Be a free spirit. Right? Love you guys. See you on Friday. I like to talk about this stuff to you guys. If you're ever interested in coming to one of my Zoom meetings, 11 a.m. Pacific time every Friday, I'll send a link. I'll leave a link in the video below this video. If you guys ever want to chat, we can do resonating with people that of like mind is always fun, right? And I know a lot of you guys, some of you guys are creators, some of you maybe you're on the creative journey, but and I'd love to have a co-creative idea that we can build something together. I still like the angel reach out idea, where you could create a YouTube channel of just a group of us. You'd have to review stuff, right? I mean, people would start sending in all kinds of stuff. Hey, could you help me wipe my butt every Tuesday morning? I mean, you get everything, right? Especially when the channel got popular enough. But you'd have to review things that you'd want, and I would love to see people and help them with maybe if they felt stuck in their business or if they felt stuck in life some way. There'd be some like spiritual team. I don't know what we'd call ourselves. The Wonder Bunch, the Wonder Twins. I don't know. Whatever you guys want to do. I'm open for anything because I'm almost done writing. So I really want to do something new. And I'll probably create something too for myself if I can't get anybody to do something with. So love you guys. Have a great day.